Massey University health psychologist Dr. Sarah Joyce has been working with stroke survivors here in the Manawatu on a unique approach to rehabilitation. It's called the 4-Stroke Engine Club, and it's about using beat-up old cars as a vehicle for better health.
Stroke is not particularly seen as a sexy illness because eventually people have had a stroke and then they've got an impairment, and then people don't know how to communicate with them because of their impairments, whatever those impairments are. However, since the introduction of MRI scans, we know that there is neuroplasticity of the brain. So essentially, we can build up new neural pathways if we practice activities to make up for the pathways that have actually been damaged by the stroke. And so by practicing an activity that you're interested in and keep practicing, you will build up new neural pathways which enable you to actually regain some of your recovery or adapt to doing activities to make you more independent.
Here on the outskirts of Fielding at the Manfield Raceway, a bunch of guys and women comes together every week to pull apart old cars. It's messy, it's greasy, yes, but it turns out that concentrating on dismantling cars and working together to sort out the parts for reuse is really beneficial to their recovery.
Well, Manfield is a standalone place that's got a bit of kudos about it. It's better for somebody who's had a stroke to come to somewhere that's neutral, that doesn't have some stigma attached to it. So basically, if you've had an interest in cars before a stroke, and it doesn't mean to say that your interest in cars left you just because you've had a stroke, so if you can come to somewhere that is actually car orientated, then you're going to have a bit more kudos about it. You feel more valued, you feel more respected, and it's a nice place to be. People with stroke in the age group of 20 to 65 have limited resources, and yet they're the ones that are the most amenable to recovery. These are the guys that have lost their jobs. I don't mean just the lads, I mean women and men. They've lost jobs, they've lost their identity, they've lost so much about their normal life that this is about giving them some value to their life. They're actually doing something practical. But the other side of things is if you have somebody with a stroke, to actually get any recovery from a stroke, you need to practice activities. And if those activities are meaningful, then you are more likely to practice them. If you're more likely to practice them, then you're going to make more gains in your brain, basically.
The 4-Stroke Engine Club is all about targeting people under 65 who've had a stroke, and there are a growing number of them. It's just that there aren't the services to help them regain the skills they've lost, from speaking, reading, writing, and memory to movement.
Stroke affects people very differently, so you'll have some people with an actual an impairment, you'll have some people with a speech impairment, you'll have some people with a thinking impairment. So essentially being together with each other, there's this level of tolerance because each other understands that we're all having a bit of difficulty, so you feel safe, and then you can increase your confidence because you can have a go at trying to speak, you can have a go at trying to think, and no one's going to be judgmental of that. So it's got an actual support network in that it's supporting people to actually increase their confidence, to increase their abilities, to practice the skills that we know are good for rehabilitation.
So the club is not only helping them recover physically from their stroke, but it's building their confidence and self-esteem too. They have a lot of laughs, and by getting their hands dirty, they are revving up their recovery.